Hello and welcome back to another unboxing brought to you by Out of Arc Gaming, and today we finally have it. We finally have Jango Fett's Slave 1. Now this has been a ship I've been wanting and been looking forward to for the past, well, I'd say 5 months since it was leaked in March. But this has been a highly anticipated ship for all players because it has a couple cards that aren't faction locked, but it also has some good cards for Scum as well as Separatist players. So this is of course a member of the Separatist faction, and let's have a look at this model. Of course I've pre-cut the model as the new 2.0 boxes are sometimes a pain to open, and of course I've already got a base ready. If I can get it in there. And there we go. And now, that is a very, very nice model. As you can see, it's got some nice blues, and of course it is a very different paint job to Boba's Slave 1. Mine seems to be at a funny angle, but I can probably fix it after with maybe a bit of a hairdryer and some heat. We got the back here with some engine glows. And nice shiny cockpit, and of course the guns and the wings. I am very, very happy with this model. This is probably one of the nicest models, and one along with the Sith Infiltrator, and one I would not be ashamed of displaying on my desk. Now let's put that over there, and let's have a look at the cardboard, dials and cards of this pack. Now if you are excited, leave a comment down below saying what ship this wave has made you, which you will be getting and maybe getting multiple of. I mean, I am very tempted to fly a double Separatist fire spray list with Jango and Zam, and maybe Boba and Jango as like a father and son combo. Okay, here we have the cardboard, the cards, and let's have a look at that dial. Now this dial is exactly the same as the Scum fire spray, as it is technically the same ship, and it is the same ship as it has the same stats and action bar. We have all the ones, with the one hard, the one banks, and the one forward. The banks and the one forward are of course blue. With the two, we have all the twos, and the two forward is blue. With the threes, we have the 3 banks and the 3 forward, and 3 talon rolls, which are quite nice to try and outmaneuver some other Jedis. And with the 4s, we have the 4 forward and the 4 K-turn. And we have a behemoth amount of charges, the number 11 lock and the number 11 identification token, 2 strain tokens, a deplete token and a stress token, and your proof of purchase. On the other side of the cardboard, we have the 2 pilot arc panels, 4 copies of thermal detonators, a jam, 1 reinforce, a focus and an evade, Zam's condition token, a critical hit token, as well as the fire spray logo for those people who are using the upgraded dial covers. Of course, we've got the white side of the thermal detonators on that side, and on the other side you have Boba and the Separatist Racketeer. And that's the cardboard that comes in the pack. And time for the most exciting part, the cards. Here we have Jango Fett, of course the main pilot you'll probably be flying in this fire spray. Jango's ability is while you defend or perform a primary attack, if the difficulty you revealed of the maneuver is less than the enemy ship, you may change one of the enemy ship's eye results to a blank result. Now that is an ideal ability for hunting Jedis. As we can see, Jango's I6 and the box standard Separatist, the Separatist fire spray abilities are focus, target lock, red reinforce, boost. And of course has the same attack and defensive stats as the Scum Fire Spray. An interesting note for you to add, this Fire Spray has the same health as the Sith Infiltrator, which is a large base ship, and is a lot more manoeuvrable than that ship, and of course means it's a lot more expensive. Next we have Zam Wesell I-5. This is the changeling we see Anakin and Obi-Wan chase after she tries to assassinate Padme. Zam's ability is set up, lose 2 charge. You have 4 of them. It says not a recurring charge, but I think there are ways to get your charge back with these secret condition cards. During the systems phase, you may assign one of your secret condition cards to yourself face down. Now, these conditions are you should thank me and you better mean business. And let's have a look at these secret condition cards. You should thank me. This condition is assigned face down. Reveal it after you defend. After you defend, Zam recovers 1 charge. Remember, you lose 2 at the start. Then you may acquire a lock on the attacker. At the end of the engagement phase, if this card is still face down and you are in the enemy's firing arc, you may reveal this card and spend 2 charge from Zam Wesell. If you do, you may perform a bonus attack against the defender. Well, just a bonus attack, not against the defender, so it can be against anyone. And at the start of the systems phase, remove this condition. Now this is a very good ability, but the only caveat is that you have to be in the enemy's firing arc. However, if you're being defended, it might be good to recover a charge and get a lock on the defender. You get 2 copies of You Should Thank Me, which is nice, as you get a crew and a pilot version of Zam, but of course you can only have 1 on the battlefield. You better mean business. This condition is assigned face down and you reveal it after you defend, just like You Should Thank Me. After you defend, you may spend 2 charge from Zam Wesell. If you do, perform a bonus attack against the attacker. That is a simpler way of getting a bonus attack than You Should Thank Me, but it doesn't mean you can get the lock. At the end of the engagement phase, if this card is face down and you are in an enemy's firing arc, you may reveal this card. If you do, Zam Wesell recovers 2 charge. See, that is interesting, as it gives you a greater way to recover charge, but it also means you've probably been attacked this round. And just like You Should Thank Me, at the start of the systems phase, remove this condition. And you get 2 copies of that, of course. Boba Fett. Now this is little Boba after the Battle of Geonosis, and while you defend, if there are no other friendly ships at range 0 to 2, you may change one of your blank results to an I result. Of course, Boba's I3, so this is not Scum Boba, who is I5 and has an amazing pilot ability. This is Boba after he's lost his dad and he's on the run from Mace Windu. This is a very great defensive ability on the fire spray and pairs very well with Lone Wolf. But I wouldn't fly Boba with a Vulture Swarm, as it requires you to be by yourself. But maybe it might be an interesting combo to have after all the Vulture droids die. Last we have the generic I2, and of course if you want to fly multiple fire sprays, a generic is never a wrong way to go, as you can probably fly up to 3, probably 3, I don't know the points of the Separatist Racketeer, probably 3 on the field at once. With the upgrade cards, we have Deadeye Shot. This is a talent card which has pretty much replaced Crack Shot as the 1 point upgrade which you can never go wrong with, as Crack Shot keeps going up in points. Why perform a primary attack? If the defender is in your bullseye arc, you may spend 1 hit result or change a crit to a hit. If you do, the defender exposes one of its damage cards. That is a nice ability if you're fighting against an already damaged ship and hoping to get a structural damage or maybe a direct hit if you're lucky. And for 1 point, you can never go wrong with a Deadeye Shot. Debris Gambit, we've all seen this card before. It gives you the red evade, and if you're in range 0 to 1 of an obstacle, it can be a white evade. Jamming Beam, the free cannon, which allows you to perform an attack, but all hits are now jams. And here are now the exciting cards. Hondo Ohnaka. This is a new crew member who is not tied to a faction, so you can have Hondo on the First Order or the Resistance, if you feel like it. Hondo's ability is an action. You can choose 2 ships at range 1 to 3 that are friendly to each other, so 2 ships on your side or 2 enemy ships. You may coordinate one of the chosen ships and then jam the other, ignoring the range restrictions. Now that is an amazing ability, as we've seen jamming at range 3 on people like Agent Terex has been quite a good ability to have, as jamming is only, if you have the jam action, you can only do it at range 1. But the more exciting part of this is the whole coordinating at range 3. So yes, you could, if you're doing this on an enemy, you can pick a stress ship, and that means they don't get an action. But when you pick a ship that is not stressed, your enemy player does get to choose the action. So you can't say, oh, barrel roll into an annoying position. But you can time it well so that the enemy player only has limited actions left to do. Now Hondo is an amazing card who will probably be seen at multiple tournaments or multiple casual events. And it really fits the theme of helping one side but backstabbing them at the same time. Next we have Jango Fett. While you defend and perform an attack, you may spend 1 lock on the enemy ship to change one of the enemy ship's eye results to a blank. This is similar to his pilot ability but requires a lock instead. I think this will be very good on probably the HMP, as it has multiple locks and it gives you a way to spend the lock. But obviously it's going to be good on the fire spray after you perform a missile attack or an attack against a lock ship, and maybe you just roll lucky and you got 3 hits or 4 hits if you're performing at range 1, and you can just spend that lock to tell the defender to change one eye to a blank. Jango is probably going to be quite expensive, and I look forward to seeing him on the field soon. Zam Wessel. Now this is Crew Zam, who is separatist or scum, just like Jango Fett. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. But unlike her pilot, she only has 2 charge, but her ability is exactly the same. So at setup, you lose 2 of these charge, and you can assign your secret conditions. Boba Fett. This is Child Boba Fett, and of course is separatist or scum. Why perform an attack? If there are no other ships in the attack arc, you may change one of your eye results to a hit result. Now that of course pairs well with Jango's I6 initiative, which allows you to move last, so it means you could barrel roll or boost into a position which allows you to have no other ships in the firing arc, and then allowing you to change one eye to a hit. This can probably work well on stuff like the Jump Master with Dengar, or maybe I don't know what other high initiative scum parts are. Obviously I don't play scum, I'm more of a separatist and rebel player, but maybe the YV666 and Bosk, because it can make full use of its front arc. Suppressive Gunner. This is a gunner card which, while you perform an attack, you may spend an eye result. If you do, the defender gains a deplete token unless it chooses to suffer a damage. Now this has been a very annoying card which I've played against, as often I play I1s and lots of ships shoot before I1, so it means I'm shooting with droids with 1 attack dice because I don't want to suffer a damage. But on some ships I see why suffering a deplete isn't as annoying. We have a new gunner called Weapons Systems Officer. After you perform a special attack with the lock requirement, you may require a lock on the defender. That is an incredibly powerful effect, as it allows you to fire some missiles or a torpedo, spend the lock to reroll dice, and then gain the lock back. That especially pairs well with Jango, as you can roll well, spend the lock to change an eye to a blank, and then get the lock back. Thermal detonators. This is the new bomb, and it has been described as the crazy bomb, as it can be placed in either 1 or 2 depending on how much charge you spend. During the systems phase, you may spend up to 2 charge to drop that many thermal detonators using the 1 or 2 template. Each must be placed using a different template, so you can't have 2 bombs dropped at the same place. When you reload this card, recover 1 additional charge. Thermal detonators damage effects read is when they blow up, each enemy ship at range 1 rolls an attack dice. On a blank they suffer nothing, on an eye they suffer a strain, on a hit they suffer a hit, and on a crit they suffer a crit, which can be quite nasty considering the high amount you can throw. False transponder codes. This is an illicit upgrade. After you acquire a lock on an object or an object acquires a lock on you, if you have 1 active charge, you must lose it and jam the object, ignoring range restrictions. This is a very cheap and cheerful illicit upgrade, and of course can be bad for you, but if a pesky I1 that isn't very important locks your ship with this transponder code, because then it gets jammed and it doesn't really bother about being jammed. But this could be good if you have the opportunity to lock a high power ship like an I6 or an I5 like Darth Vader, and then then jam it. It'd be especially good against Suntif Fel. Ablative plating. Before you would suffer damage from an obstacle or from a friendly bomb detonating, you may spend 1 charge to prevent that 1 damage. And of course, we have the new Slave 1 title. That is Separatist and Scum, and for your Fire Spray class patrol craft. Why perform a forward front attack arc, and the defender is in its, and you would against the defender rear arc. So for example, if Jango Fett's there, and let's say a B wing is there, if you're shooting in its back arc, the Slave 1's effect can trigger. You may change 1 hit to a crit result, and you can add a gunner slot. Of course, this is what happened in the Battle of Geonosis, while Jango Fett got behind Obi-Wan and applied and damaged his engine, which is a crit card. So that's really good thematic writing by FFG. And last, we have the 2 quick build cards, which of course we don't worry about. Now that is the Jango Fett Slave 1 unboxing brought to you by Out of Arc Gaming. If you like this video, please leave a like and comment down below of which ship of this wave have you been looking forward to most. Of course, mine is the Slave 1, but yours might be the Tri-Fighter or the Eta 2. Now thanks for watching, and see you later.